This is the Mighty OB'a here once again on clbTV, 1080 AM WUFO, and YouTube with our weekly sports talk update. Well, I am here to talk about Kareem Abdul Jabbar and why I believe the Los Angeles Lakers really need to hurry up and put a statue of him. He should not even had to ask. His statue should have been out there long before Magic Johnson, long before anybody else in that Laker organization. One of the greatest players in the history of the NBA and the history of the NCAA, but also one of the greatest athletes for African Americans. One that stood up during the protest period of the Civil Rights era and refused to go into the Olympic Games and represent the United States of America in 1968 when he could have used it as a launch pad for his own career and made several millions of dollars from Olympic glory. He refused to do it because it was during the Civil Rights era when blacks were being sicked on by dogs for protesting for their constitutional rights to exist in this country under the same laws of everyone else. This was Kareem Jabbar. A lot of you have forgotten about that. He was one that went to the UCLA graduation and graduated as an honor student there and received his diploma and wore his dark shades in protest of how they were treating blacks around the country. He came out during an era where many athletes such as Jim Brown, Bill Russell, John Carlos, Tommy Smith, Muhammad Ali, all made principled stands so that there could be a Shaquille O'Neal who recently announced his retirement. So there could be an O.J. Simpson, so there could be a Michael Jordan. This was all done by the Kareem Jabbars. And it is my obligation as one that came up during that era to defend this great, great athlete and humanitarian. There should not be a question of whether or not there is a statue out in front of the Staples Center dedicated to this great, great athlete and Los Angeles Laker who won 6 National Basketball Association championships. But it is how quickly they put it up and what they put beside it when they put it up. Because he made a principled stand for the progress of African Americans in this country. Kareem Abdul Jabbar is one of the great athletes of his day, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, both in college and professionally, but also one of the greatest African American star power athletes that used his star power to protest the unfair treatment of African Americans in this country during an era during Martin Luther King Jr., Stokely Carmichael, and many of the others, Huey Newton. All of them stood for us and stood for African Americans and are responsible for the progress that we enjoy today in this country. Kareem Abdul Jabbar, no doubt, is one of the greatest African American athletes of his time or any other time. And I hope that all of you would do some research and see that he was one with Bill Russell, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali that made principled stands and refused to allow their star power to further progress the United States of America, who was not living up to the creed in which they wrote in their Constitution and Declaration of Independence. This is the Mighty OB'a speaking up for Kareem Abdul Jabbar, formerly known as Lou Alcindor, one of the greatest athletes of his day and of this time, who made a major contribution athletically and also by allowing his star power to contribute to civil unrest for the unfair treatment of African Americans in this country. I am the Mighty OB'a.